What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got another little quick review for you of a classic fold knife, hunting knife, whatever you want to call it. This is a Buck 112. Before I get into it, hey, if you're new to the channel, first time seeing me, whatever, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you want to hear me ramble more about knives. Patreon's down in the description if you care to support the channel. I think they start at like $2 a month or so and go up from there. I really appreciate my Patreons and channel members, and I appreciate everybody that support me. This one is pretty interesting little American made classic knife, the Buck 112. A good look at it there. I know it's not like my normal knife review type here, like the modern folders or whatever, but this one's pretty neat, man. It's got a little clip point on it, pretty heavy. So the Buck 112 was introduced in 1972 and wasn't really added to their catalog from what I get out of it, reading about it anyway. I wasn't around then until 1974, but it was kind of like a smaller alternative to the Buck 110, which I'll do a size comparison. I got that one too here in a minute. Before I get into that, let me go ahead and do overall measurements. So the Buck 112, tip of the blade all the way to the end of the handle, you're looking right about 7 1/4 inches. Blade length, if you go all the way up to where it meets with the handle, about 3 1/4. Sharpen edge on it right about 2 3/4, one right there. Go ahead and get the calibers out here, make sure they're zeroed out. Thickness on it, got about 119 thousandths there at the spine. Behind the edge you're looking at, let me make sure I got the, there we go, got 24.5 thousandths right there. And handle thickness on it, 0.6 inches. Alright, next up we're going to do size comparisons. Let's see, let's go ahead with the cold steel 8010. A lot more modern of, you know, knives for the most part for the size comparisons. That is the Demco 80 20.5 slicer. So about the same, I guess, overall length as a slicer. Slicer looks like it's got it beat by a little bit there. And we'll do the Ontario Knives Rat Model 1, Ontario Knives Rat Model 2. Alright, closer to the Rat 2. And the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, that's the one wearing the fancy set of Eddie anodized scales there, with the Titanium Lotus scales anodized by Mr. Eddie. And that's the Parrot 3, that one's a Maximate. So close to the size of the Parrot 3 for sure. And last but not least, let's do against its big brother here. That is the Buck 110. So you can see some pretty good differences there. These are both lockbacks. Both got wood handles, brass bolsters there. Yeah, for the most part the same, except for this is smaller, and this one does have that little finger groove right there. Kind of like the ergonomics on that one a little bit better. The 110, the larger knife, the original I would call it, doesn't really have that little spot right there for a finger groove, which I thought that was, you know, a little step towards innovation. I remember this design is, you know, was it 28, about 50 years old, a little over 50 years old. So yeah, that was kind of a step towards innovation there. Size comparisons with that. All right, let's go ahead and weigh this bad boy. Feels like a pretty hefty knife, I guess. Really solid. I don't know, I'm gonna guess around 4.5 5 ounces maybe. Let's put her on the scale. Way off like normal. 6.2 ounces. Yeah, definitely a yep, 6.2 ounces. What does a 110 weigh? Let's see, 7.2, so an ounce more on the 110 there. All right, pocket, blue jeans, this goes in it right? There's no clip. There's no there's no clip option for this one. It comes with a sheath. A pretty cool sheath there. It says 112 down there on it. Sheath was made in Mexico. Just a little heads up on that in case that matters to anyone. Might not, doesn't really matter to me personally, but just a little piece of knowledge there. That's got a belt loop in it. Put the sheath on, you know, your belt. You can put it in there, or you can just let it sit in your pocket. Pocket check, or hardware check on it rather. It's got the little bolsters there, rivets, I guess. There's, you know, those are bronze, that's stainless. No really taking this apart, you know. You can see kind of right there little signs of like it was starting to maybe that brass was starting to corrode. It's a pretty heavy knife for sure. Now as far as that, getting all the specs out of the way, as far as ergonomics, like I was saying earlier, I really like the ergonomics of this one a little bit better than the 110, and I think a lot of it's to do with that finger groove. I got I'd say average size hands. I wear a large glove. Not really huge hands, not really super small hands, but yeah, that's definitely pretty, it feels pretty secure in hand. Now, can you choke up? Maybe a little bit right there, you know, but it's not as comfortable choked up as it is choked back with the design of that little finger groove right there. These go for around $69.99. They do have all kinds of different variants of these things. They got automatics, I think, in these. They do an XL, I think. I don't know if it's an XL. What do they call it? Elite, Slim Pro. I don't know. They do all kinds of different versions of it. They do a more modern take on it with G10. And like I said earlier, an automatic. This one, the regular original. This one's in ebony wood and brass on the bolsters. You know, you got full filled in right there with that back lock. No issues with gunk or gook or, you know, pocket lint or anything getting in right there, because that's totally sealed off. You got a little spot there, but other than that, no issues there at all. You know, you can get some trash or whatever kind of in there. This is not milled out or anything like that. But yeah, really good first knife or beginner's knife, or I mean, it's really a good collection knife to have. I mean, it's not a bad one to, you know, I think everybody should have a couple of knives like this in their collection, even if you don't use them. I mean, it's good to have, to know what we came from, right? I mean, because I said this one was designed in 72 and put into commission in 74. So it's been around about 50 years, you know, and it is still very much a very usable pocket knife. You know, swedges down from that spine right there. You got the little nail nick and the clip point for opening. You know, it is definitely a two-handed opening knife, although I'm sure some people could probably maybe open it with one hand. It is more or less a two-handed opening knife. Really good blade shape for skinning and stuff like that. A clip point, 420C or 420H, I think, on the steel. Not really anything to write home about in 2024, but a pretty decent steel in 1974. They do have upgraded versions, like I said, with different steels. They have automatics. They have modern ones of the 112 with G10 on the handles. But yeah, pretty much a classic knife design right there by Buck. So that's about it, y'all. I appreciate everybody watching the video, the reviews. Thank y'all for coming back day after day, listening to me ramble about stuff. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know in the comments down below. You like the 110, the 112? Which one do you prefer? You know, I'd love to hear back from you. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of the content. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Y'all stay sharp.